Alright, I hope you guys aren't tired of Heart Gold Soul Silver music in the background, because it's going to be here for at least one more battle. Probably some more because I really like that OST, but a lot of people do, so hopefully it's not a big deal, but this is the last of this bulk section that I'm going to be recording. This is versus user Bustaplz from Twitch. As per usual, if you want to get battles versus me, just my Twitch is down there. Go ahead, follow. Next time I'm streaming viewer Wi-Fi battles, peep it, and hopefully we'll get the opportunity to battle. So, like I said, this is versus user Bustaplz. I'm using the Machamp team. I should already have a showdown game going up where I've used this team, but now I'm using it on Wi-Fi. One crucial change that you should notice is that this has a Skarmory over the Ferrothorn. Again, like I talked about, this PK Hex stuff, for some reason, it's not saving the changes that I'm doing to my sets, and I know I'm clicking set. I know I'm clicking set, and it's not my trackpad either, because I've got a mouse that I know works. I'm right-clicking it and clicking set, and it's not saving the right set. It's just putting the default set on there, and I don't know why that is. So, the default set that ended up going on there had Stealth Rocks, not Spikes, which, if it was just a standard utility Ferrothorn with Spikes, I would have just used that. Even over the Choice Band Ferrothorn that this team's supposed to have. To be honest, that'd probably be better for the team anyway. But because it had Stealth Rock on there, I had to end up using Skarmory, which is worse for this team overall, but not too much worse. At the end of the day, Ferrothorn's main role is just to kind of take a couple attacks, set up spikes and stuff. And Skarmory can do that just as well versus Wi-Fi players. Versus good players, it's gonna definitely put me at a higher disadvantage, but on Wi-Fi, again, not to be rude, but on Wi-Fi, it'll get the job done. And like I said, this versus user Bustaplz. His team is looking a little old school, you know, with the Manaphy, Venusaur, Raikou. Three Mons that you don't typically see too often nowadays, or at least the way that he uses them. Typically, if you see Manaphy, it's going to be that Fizz Def Rain Dance set. And if you see Raikou nowadays, it's typically going to be like CM Volt Switch. CM Toxic is a set. Sub-CM, which was popular-ish in early XY, is making a huge comeback right now. And then Venusaur you just don't see at all. You just see the other two Bulgy or Grass types, which have Regenerator. Nowadays, of course. So it's a bit of an older style team, but definitely not bad. Pretty good versus my team. Manaphy can be potentially a huge issue. Venusaur is going to be the biggest issue because I have no absolute way to break it. My way of dealing with Venusaur is to get hazards down, and he doesn't have a way to remove them unless it's Defog Skarmory. But if it's Defog Skarmory, then I can take advantage of that and trap it with my Magneton on that turn. So I'm going to have to predict really well around that. But I think I'm in a pretty good spot to win. Like I said, if he plays really well between the Venusaur and the Skarmory, and just preventing me from trapping it with Magneton and preventing me from getting spikes down by pressuring my Skarmory with Raikou and Manaphy as well, but mainly Raikou, then he can definitely win. But I think I'm in a pretty good spot, so we'll see what happens. And let's go ahead and get it in. So, like I said, Bustaplz is challenging me. I believe this is the same name that he has on Twitch, so good for him for using the same name. A lot of people have like their IRL name or just a different name like I do, and that's a problem. So I'll lead with Zapdos. I think Zapdos is a pretty good lead versus team. Zapdos actually handles his team very well, and I'm Spadef too, so I can handle Raikou just fine. I can't do much back to Raikou, but I can scout out more information about the set and try and deal with it in a more appropriate way. So he leads Lando. He ends up going for a U-turn. Unfortunately, I'm not Rocky Helmet on this team. I am just standard old leftovers because I couldn't get one with static for Wi-Fi because it's an event and I couldn't get the event card that I needed to get the static. And I just decided, you know, if I'm running pressure, let me just run leftovers anyway. So I go for HPS right there just to see what type of player he is, because sometimes they stay in. Don't know why, but sometimes they do. And I don't really lose anything from HPSing. Obviously, Volt Switch would have been better to get me momentum, but I don't really lose anything, so I just go for HP Ice. He goes for a couple T-Bolts, I just roosted off, and now I just go to Machamp, because I'm not really accomplishing anything. I mean, I could force him to burn T-Bolts due to pressure, but he's going to come out of that situation. So I just go to Machamp, and he goes for Volt Switch right there, and reveals to me that he is not choiced. I go for Ice Punch, predicting Landorus. He goes to Skarmory, which is the better play. But just, again, a lot of times they go to Lando. So that's why I went for Ice Punch over Knockoff or even Dynamic Punch. And unfortunately, he has Rocky Helm, and I detest that set. Right now, I just don't think Rocky Helmet Skarmory is good. I think you have to run Leftovers or Shed Shell if your team is more dependent on Skarmory. But he has Rocky Helm, and it's going to work out for him there. Now I go to Landorus, predicting him to double out of Skarmory. But he decides to stay in and go for Stealth Rock. And now I kind of know what player he is, so I go for Stealth Rock of my own. To just get the rocks up to pressure his team. I think he has a Talonflame, so getting rocks up is going to be pretty good for me. Ends up getting Venusaur in now, which is kind of bad because, like I said, my entire game plan of dealing with Venusaur is to wear it down via entry hazards. But that's not going to work out, obviously, because he got in before the entry hazards. So I U-turn out of there, kind of banking on him being slow, but Venusaurs typically don't run speed. There was a period of time when they did run a teeny weeny, a little bit of speed to beat out Jolly Belly Drum Azumarill. But now that Belly Drum Azumarill in general has fallen out of popularity, but especially the Jolly variant, they don't run speed at all. If they do run speed, it's to be at the Adamant variant, which is the only Belly Drum variant that you see nowadays. Usually anyway, maybe it's different on Wi-Fi. So I go to Machamp right there because I wanted something to take Sleep Powder. Because I predicted him to have Sleep Powder, but he doesn't. Or at least he doesn't go for it right there. So now I'm thinking, well, shit, might as well just go to Skarmory. I don't really have anything that else. I don't have anything else that I can do versus Venusaur. Like, I just can't do anything else versus it. It's such a problem for my team. So I just say, you know what, I'm going to go to Skarmory. If he has Sleep Powder, he has Sleep Powder. And he can't do too much to me. Even if he has HP Fire, I only take, like, what, 32% or something from max attack? And he has Leech Seed, so that means he's probably more defensive. So I'll put the math up to show you the exact number of what 0 special attack, which is what I'm guessing he is, because he has Leech Seed. HP Fire does to me. It's not much at all. I don't know the exact number, however. So I just got some spikes down, and it looks like he doesn't have Sleep Powder. Later on, we'll see more about the Venusaur moveset, but it's not looking like he has Sleep Powder at this point. Otherwise, he would have gone for it. So that's really good for me. Because even though the Venusaur is annoying, and this Leech Seed is really annoying, him not having Sleep Powder is so good because, like, that's one of the things that makes Amoonguss so good, is that having a 100% chance of just taking something out of commission or being able to manipulate it to act differently. And being able to manipulate your opponent to act differently, to play around the sleep is a very good weapon to have. But it doesn't look like he has Sleep Powder, so that's going to take a lot of pressure off of me. So I go to Lando on his Lando. Pretty obvious play to do, especially because I want to get the Leech Seed off of my Skarmory. He knocks off my Rocky Helmet, which is unfortunate, but he took some damage in the process. So I can't really complain, and I can U-turn, and it looks like he's Choice Scarf Lando. So that means that I can get the slow turn off on him, and he goes to Venusaur, and this is what I'm talking about how Venusaur just gets worn down by the entry hazards. Because now he had to take Stealth Rock, he had to take a layer of Spike, and the U-turn, and now this Venusaur went from being at full to being at half health. Not quite at half health, but like 60%. He goes for Leech Seed, and it misses. Unfortunate, I don't think it was game-changing. But I think he misses another one later on that was actually worse than this Leech Seed. But he ends up getting Whirlwinded out to Talonflame. That's really unfortunate because now his Talonflame has to take the 50% from rocks. And I don't want to stay in to take a Will-O-Wisp, or if he's an offensive variant with Flare Blitz, I don't want to take that. So I go to Zapdos. And we're just going to see what he does here. See what type of Talonflame this is. He does go for Flare Blitz. Again, not a big fan of Flare Blitz and the modern ORAS metagame, but It's going to work out well for him there as my Zapdos just goes down, and I'm thinking Choice Band at this point. I don't see any leftovers. But I think he's no item acrobatics, just with max attack adamant. So I guess Zapdos just isn't that bulky on the Fizz Def side. So at this point, now I can put the Talonflame in a checkmate spot by going to Lopunny and being able to force him out. Unfortunately, he has Skarmory right here, and I don't predict around this well at all. So I was so dead set on him foddering off Skarmory, or not Skarmory, Talonflame, and just wanting to get my Lopunny Mega Evolved, because Lopunny is, I mentioned this before the last game I used this, but Lopunny is sort of the focus of the team, and me wanting to Mega Evolve Lopunny right there and as soon as possible ended up being really bad for me, because I mean, it doesn't cost me too much long term because I can just go to Magneton now and deal with the Skarmory now. But it just, I could have just doubled the Magneton then and been in a much more powerful spot, because now I don't have to reset the hazards that I already laid down. I could have just doubled the Magneton, but I didn't do that. Like I said, I just wanted to fake out as soon as possible. So hopefully you guys can not make the same mistake that I did. And right there, that's the only reason I'm focusing on that so much, is so that you guys see this and don't make the same mistake that I did right there. So I'm able to trap the Skarmory now, because I know that if he decides to defog, like I said in the team preview, if he takes the time to defog, I can trap him with Magneton. And even though he does successfully defog, like I said, now he's trapped with Magneton. So now the Skarmory's down, now he doesn't get any more Stealth Rock up, and now as the game goes on, I can reset the hazards. So at this point, I don't really need Magneton for anything. Could be nice for Talonflame, especially because I don't have Zapdos anymore, but I think I have Landorus, so I think I'm okay in that spot. I have Landorus and I have Fake Out from Lopunny, so I think I'm okay in dealing with Talonflame, especially because he's offensive. I thought he was CB at that point in the game. Like I said, it turns out that he's just no item acrobatics, and Zapdos is just that, or Talonflame is just that strong, even though you don't think it's that strong, but it is. So I'm just going to fodder off Magneton because I don't have a switch into this Raikou at this point in time because my Zapdos is dead. And like I said, Magneton probably isn't going to be helping me too much. So I could just fodder off Magneton, trade it, and get some damage off on Raikou. He decides to fodder it right here though, which is a little peculiar to me. But then again, I guess he didn't really have a better switch in because Venusaur was so low and didn't take 2 frustrations either. And he doesn't want Manaphy to take that damage because Manaphy is definitely a potential win con for him. So right here, I know that he knows that Manaphy puts a ton of pressure on my team, and at this point in time, so I decide to high jump kick because I figure that he's gonna tail glow, and even if he goes for an attack, as long as Skull doesn't burn me, I should still be in a pretty good spot. So that's why I high jump kick right there, just so that the Manaphy, if he wants to tail glow, won't be a danger to my team. Just to, like I said, even if my Lopunny gets burned, it's a small issue short term to prevent a larger issue long term. Because if I don't get that damage off on Manaphy, it can take some hits and do a lot more damage to my team, and he ends up going for that tail glow right there. So I'm able to just straight up take out the Manaphy. And now I know that he's going to go to Landorus. Or I don't know that he goes to Landorus, he just sends it out. But I figure that he's just going to go for EQ. Because of the fact that I predicted in the previous turn. So typically what players do is once they get predicted like that, they play, they make the obvious play the following turn. So I can go to Skarmory right there. I should have gone to Landorus to get Stealth Rock up in hindsight, but I went to Skarmory just for some reason. I don't even know why. I think it was just objectively better for me to go to Landorus. Oh, this was why. So I go to Skarmory, throw down a Spike to help deal with Venusaur, and if Talonflame wants to come in, then it gets intimidated as opposed to the other way around. Talonflame wouldn't have been intimidated. So that play actually makes sense. So I go to Landorus right there, get the Intimidate off on Talon, and now he's going to end up dying to the Stealth Rock as I get those up. So maybe he was CB. I think he said that he wasn't CB in the chat. That's how I know. But the Talonflame is going to end up going down. Ends up going for another Flare Blitz, and now he's down. I think he should have just gone for another Flare Blitz or maybe gone for a Roost to test his luck, but he switches out as I just get rocks up right there. because if he roosts, then it's no big deal. I just Stone Edge. And if he Will-O-Wisps or Flavorlets or whatever, then... Or not Will-O-Wisp, but if he Flavorlets, then he dies to Helmet. So that's just... It's just the best play for me overall to go for Stealth Rock. And now, like I said, Skarmory is my dedicated Venusaur counter at this point in time, because I'm just going to assume that he doesn't have Sleep Powder. We see both Synthesis and Leech Seed, which is really rare and, in my opinion, ineffective, but that's what he ends up having. And like I said, because he has both of those, I just find it really, really improbable that he has Sleep Powder, because he has Giga Drain, we'd think, Leech Seed Synthesis, and then Sludge Bomb, because we haven't seen him go for HP Fire. That's normally what the last move is, but if it's not Sludge, or if it's not HP Fire, because we haven't seen him go for it, then I'm just guessing it's Sludge Bomb. So yeah, we see him go for Giga Drain right there. I think I'm just going to take the Leech Seed to get the opportunity to throw down more spikes. So, like I said, whenever the Venusaur comes in, now it's taking, how much? 37? 37.5, I think, is the exact number. That's a lot of damage, especially for a mon like Venusaur. And the Leech Seed doesn't help it that much. Maybe he has Protect as the last move, which is even worse. Like, talk about your Ferrothorn counter losing to Ferrothorn if your last move is Protect, but that's why I'm saying you should have HP Fire, but no, but I'm not him. So he has the Synthesis, which gets stalled out pretty easily because there's only 8 of them, and he's already used 1, I believe. Leech Seed, I can kind of switch around with that, and we don't know what the last move is, but I'm feeling pretty confident in what I'm gonna do. So yeah, between these spikes, between the Stealth Rock, this Venusaur is not in the best of spot right now. I'm definitely in the checkmate position with my Skarmory. So like I said, Venusaur was a problem early on, but I'm feeling pretty confident in my ability to deal with it. However, I still can't really switch out to too many things, especially because I don't know too much about the rest of this, what that last move is going to be. And I think at this point, all I have left is Skarmory, Landorus, and what do I have left? Skarmory, Landorus, and Lopunny, so I can't switch out either way. So if he gets lucky with some RNG, well, first of all, this Leech Seed is really annoying, but if he gets lucky with some RNG, or springs on the surprise HP Fire, and then maybe gets a crit on top of that, then I'm in a bad spot. Like you see right now, I'm able to get the kill on the Talonflame, so I don't take Leech Seed damage, but I've taken quite a bit of damage now, and now I'm obligated to roost this turn. So now I have to give something more Leech Seed recovery, and I actually don't roost this turn. It's a bit of a misplay, because now my Skarmory is just getting lower and lower and not really dealing with walls too well. But I guess it's better than giving Landorus. Yeah, this is my mindset. So if I stayed in and roosted, and he got a crit with Stone Edge, then I basically would have been at the same health, but he would have been gaining health. So I decided to go to Landorus, get the Intimidate off, so now the Stone Edge isn't doing too much, and the Leech Seed is shaken off. If he gets a crit on me, that's one thing, but if he gets a crit on me plus the Leech Seed, then it's just way more devastating for me. So I'm basically just trying to minimize RNG. Of course, if you crit my Landorus, that would have been bad too, but I think a -1 Lando versus the Skarmory is pretty good. Plus, like I said, it shakes the Leech Seed off, and it gives me the opportunity to, yeah, you see a crit right there does nearly half. It gives me the opportunity mainly to shake the Leech Seed off, so I can roost it off, because even if he gets 2 crits at this point, then it's fine. But what my health was at before, even if a crit didn't take me out, then 2 crits in a row would have. That's what I'm saying. Just minimizing RNG is really what the end objective is. He gets a crit right there, I just Iron Head for a little bit of damage. What I'm actually starting to realize at this point is that I can go for endgame with Lopunny. And I could have done it right there, because actually no, because Landorus is locked in as Stone Edge. So my plan was to go for Power Up Punch, finish out Venusaur, and then my own Landorus plus Skarmory would have just taken out his Landorus, because I think those are his only 2 mons left. But I don't act on that. I just decide to play it more safe, as opposed to going for the more aggressive route with Skarmory, or not with Skarmory, with Lopunny. He does hit me with another Leech Seed though, and now this Landorus is gaining health, and it's kind of a problem. So I think I do it now because I don't feel like he goes for Earthquake right here. Okay, no. So I go to Landorus right here, see what he wants to do. Right. Goes for knockoff actually. As opposed to Stone Edge. And I'm just going to let my Landorus die to go for U-turn in case he wants to be cheeky and go to his Venusaur. And I think I go for the end game plan now of just go to low punny, go for the power up punch, and give me enough attack with the +1 to take out Venusaur. And I'll try and wrap things up here, like I mentioned earlier, except this time it's on a knockoff and not on a Stone Edge. So I go for the power up punch, give me the +1, and I think I just go for another one just because why not? Might as well go for +2 instead of going for +1. And another power punch would have taken him out, or if I got a super low roll, put him in a position to where rocks take him out. And he does have to switch out because he's locked into knockoff. So yeah, I just go for another power punch, and those hazards, dude. This is why Mega Venusaur does not get as much usage as it used to, because hazards are so much more dominating in the current metagame right now in ORAS OU. People have figured out how to get around these defog setters and stack their hazards up. So yeah, there's Landorus. Let's come in. I'm at +2 right now, big threat. I can win the game. He goes for Earthquake. He's obligated to go for Earthquake. No reason for me to switch to Skarmory when if he goes for Stone Edges and gets crits, then it's no good. So I just decide, you know, if it doesn't kill me, then I just win 2-0. If it does kill me, then I win 1-0 with Skarmory. So I just go for the Iron Head, finish things off, and I'm able to get the 1-0 win. So GG's to Bustaplz. We had a little talk after the stream, or not after the stream, after he had this battle, because he's like, yo, what could I have done better? And I said, well, the big issue was your Mega Venusaur was your win con, but Mega Venusaur gets really worn down by hazards, particularly spike stacking, which this team implements. So first of all, not playing so passive with Skarmory, and playing more aggressive with your Raikou on my Skarmory, because my ways of dealing with Raikou are outspeeding it with low punny, and then taking hits with Zapdos and Magneton. Not the most reliable, because it can Volt Switch. Especially because he also has Landorus, Skarmory for his own Venusaur, etc, etc. I think my dog's about to come in here, but anyways, guys. If anyone else is watching this, just keep that in mind. If you're going to use Mega Venusaur, you have to have ways to pressure both Skarmory, Ferrothorn. Basically, those two monsters are the two most common spike stackers. And yeah, like I said, just keep that in mind. So, I don't know what else to say. Keep the links down in the description. Hope you guys enjoy.